Hello everybody and welcome to Toyah at Home. I'm here in my meadow just by the River Avon. It's absolutely freezing. Thus I have my Vivian Westwood denim jacket on with wonderful brooches made by John Wayne of rubies, plus necklaces I've made in lockdown. It's absolutely freezing today. What's going on? It's been a crazy week. Very good things are happening. Like today we are giving you a preview of my first single, Levitate. This is fabulous news. The film To Be Someone has a cinema release on the 9th of July. It'll only be in the cinemas for a month, then goes to DVD on the 9th of August. Give Them Wings has distribution and a premiere happening. It's just all so exciting, so much going on, yet at the same time with the larger festivals we've had to move a few dates yet again because some of the festivals can't be part of the pilot scheme, and because of COVID ruling they've had to move by a couple of months, but they're still happening. And I'm really hoping by the end of July we will all be kicking off as normal and we'll all be safe, thank you mainly to the vaccine, and everything can just get back to being having fun and live music. I really can't wait. Before the end of July I've got 2 weeks on a P&O ship where I'm doing 12 concerts, and wow, I'm looking forward to that so much, as well as amazing amounts of press for Posh Pop. I've got the really big newspapers and I've got some great music magazines as well. It's all very exciting. So I hope for you life is wonderful and there's a certain amount of normality and that you're all safe and well. So the first question is going to be about Derek Jarman's The Tempest, but before I answer that, this is Brave New World, which I think links rather beautifully into Miranda and The Tempest. Here's the song. Enjoy. Brave New World.
His love dies, yours grows and grows. It's a cruel world. Shall I tell you what I'll do? I'll forget you. You beginners, you surround us, you love another world to dream of. You beginners, you surround us, you love, it's a great beginning. It's time to move on. You love, it's a brave new world.
That was Brave New World, that links in rather wonderfully to our first question today about Derek Jarman's movie, The Tempest, Shakespeare's The Tempest. Pete Benton, you say you've just watched the movie. Oh my goodness, Pete, I adore this movie. I had to watch it again a couple of years ago to give a talk at the Victoria and Albert Museum, and it took my breath away how contemporary this movie is and how beautiful and extraordinary Derek Jarman's filming was. You asked Pete, could I share some memories of making the film, and did we get snowed in? Well, here I am about 34 miles from Coventry's Stoneleigh Abbey, which is where we shot most of the interior sequences for The Tempest and some of the exterior. We were shooting around February and March of, I think it was 1979 or 1980, and it was unbelievably cold. The majority of the cast and crew was staying at a motel just off the, I think it's the A46 that leads to Stoneleigh Abbey. And we were okay once we were in the hotel, but there was this occasion where we all were doing a night shoot at Stoneleigh Abbey, which only had a few functioning rooms because it burnt down quite a few years earlier, and absolutely nothing had been touched in the Abbey. So the burnt out curtains were still hanging in the window frames. There was broken windows, there was burnt out wooden panels, which made it a phenomenal film set, except this was actually as is. So we were having a night shoot and it started to snow, and yes, we did get snowed in for a couple of hours until the snowplows came out and cleared the roads. It was very romantic to shoot this movie. The setting was romantic. There were so many of us crammed into the Abbey, and when we did the big wedding sequence at the end of the movie with Elizabeth Welsh, the wonderful jazz singer, there was probably about 100 people in Stoneleigh Abbey all involved in this sequence, which meant it was very crowded but also very warm and cozy and warm-hearted, and there was lots of fun and laughter, and Derek Jarman was enjoying the process immensely, and that very much turned into an all-night party, that particular sequence, once we got it shot. I remember Heathcote Williams, who played my father, the brilliant poet Heathcote Williams, who wrote for Marianne Faithfull on Broken English, Why Did You Do It?, which is an incredible, vicious song about infidelity. Heathcote at the time kept 2 rats in his hair, and he never combed his hair, and the rats were very comfortable nesting in his abundance of uncombed hair. And Heathcote would say, don't touch the rats, they bite. Well, there was no problem there. I didn't really want to touch the rats, but he was such a great Prospero. He was so magical. And there was Carl Johnson playing Ariel, which I think is one of the absolute heights of Carl's career. He was so brilliant as Ariel. It was a very strong creative team. Yolanda Soliband did my costumes, and she was very kind to bring me in at the creative process to ask me how I wanted to build the character of Miranda. And I wanted Miranda not to be aware of that she was genetically and biologically female. I just wanted her to exist in the moment. And the only thing that she had to wear, she got out of luggage that was left behind after the shipwreck that left her and her father on this island. So she was wearing the skeleton structures of crinolines, which were just kind of wired structures that held the skirts out. But I didn't want her to be aware of her femininity and her feminine nature until she saw Ferdinand, her future husband, for the very first time. And I wanted that to be a complete mad rush of hormones. So Yolanda Soliband, she sat me down and we talked about how crazy Miranda's world was, and the fact that she would have instinctively picked up on things of beauty, like shells on the beach, driftwood on the beach, dried leaves, dried flowers. It would all be instinctive rather than educated into her. And she would just pick these things up and be a natural creative. So Yolanda just created these absolutely gorgeous costumes for me that looked as though they were made from driftwood, cast aside feathers, skulls, bird skulls, everything on this island that had no other inner resources other than it was derelict would have become something creative for Miranda to express herself through. And for the wedding sequence to Ferdinand, Derek Jarman gave me the wedding ring after shooting, and of course it's completely apt to the creative nature of Miranda. So the wedding ring is a beautiful mother of pearl shell which still fits beautifully on my finger, and then there's this wedding band which again is mother of pearl shell, and Derek very kindly allowed me to have this after the filming. Derek was so generous. So in answer to your question, dear Pete, yes, we did get so snowed in, and the memories are absolutely glorious. It was a very happy time. It was a time when my music career was ascending, and it was exciting. I was going from studio to studio. I was filming the Tempest while doing lots of music programs, promoting albums. It was actually fabulous around the time of Blue Meaning, and it was just exhilarating. When Derek Jarman first asked me to play Miranda, I remember he called me into a restaurant off, I think, Frith Street in the West End to have a meeting with the producers, and he said, did I think I could pick up Shakespeare and do this play with him? And my instant reaction was I didn't think I could do Shakespeare. I was never good at it at school, and I certainly didn't have the patience to watch it on school outings to Stratford. And he said, well, I think you're the perfect Miranda, and I'm going to get you through the dialogue. And he did play a creative force in editing some of the script right down, the original Shakespeare script right down, but he also made the rhythm of the speech a lot easier. And he sat with me before we did scenes, and he had me recite my lines to him, and he said, well, try this, try that, think of this rhythm, think of this connotation and this kind of emphasis. So he was a wonderful, wonderful director on this film in what turned out, I think, to be one of the best ever versions of The Tempest ever made. And Pete, thank you for your question. I'm so excited. This is the video to Levitate, the first single off Posh Pop, out now for streaming. I love this song, and it is one of the first songs that Simon Darlow and I wrote for the album Posh Pop almost exactly a year ago. And then we had to take a break till January, mainly because of COVID and because Simon had another project to finish. But Levitate was the seedling that grew into a major album, and so excited by it. So here we go. Enjoy.
How's your day? It's time to play. Glitter ball, chaos, heaven on my mind. Oxygen, breathing, gravity. Pulling us down. 12 seconds to midnight. Levitate, levitate, up, 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 levitate. No gravity, we're getting higher. Levitate, gotta get away. Levitate, time to break. Levitate, no gravity, we're getting higher. Drift away, escape, liberty,
So there you have it, a taster of the video Levitate for the new single. It's just so wonderful to have had my husband, Robert Fripp, who's called Bobby Willcox on the album, to play with us. And he just did such a fantastic job alongside Simon Darlow. We're calling Robert Bobby Willcox on the album because we don't want anything to back reference to his history, and in many ways I'd like it not to back reference to my history, because in lockdown we were in an exceptional situation, creating exceptional music with exceptional connection around the world, and we want this to be seen at this point in time, at this moment, in this present moment, that something that could have only have happened because of the history of the last 15 months. So Robert is known as Bobby Willcox on the album. I've had a lovely question off Joanna Pensome, and you ask, what can you tell us about the experience of making Posh Pop now that it's close to being heard? How did the very first song come about? My experience of making Posh Pop was it was one of the first albums I have ever made where I knew it had to be made. Now, I've always been ambitious and I've always wanted to be making new music, and I always have made new music. But there was something about the creative flow of the last 15 months that I realized that this was an opportunity in my life that I will never have again, purely because the state the world was in. It was exceptional. It was as if all the channels of creativity and connection had opened up. And it's been a very, very fulfilling album to make. I think a relatively easy album to make, even in lockdown and with the pressures of lockdown and the worries and the inability to get people into the same room. I think it was just meant to be. And because of that, I'm very, very passionate about it. But there were moments of polarization where Simon and I sat down and discussed for many days what we wanted out of a song that could have had two meanings. And there's two songs in particular on the album that could have two meanings. And I think because I go out there and I work in movies and I gig and I end up making tea for people, I end up holding lights for people, I end up always doing the job that makes the end result happen. I'm not sitting in a Winnebago waiting to be served and looked upon. My life is very hands-on in the creative industries. And because Simon very much sits in a studio with his incredible creativity, his incredible musical talent, his eternal set of ideas, but he's in a cocoon. And I find Robert's the same. These boys are cocooned and protected, whereas a woman, I feel very much, I'm thrown to the wolves and I have to survive. So there were two incidents on this very beautiful flowing album where I dug my heels in. One was the second song we wrote for the album after Levitate is called Monkeys. And Simon and I were quite polarized on the use of imagery within this lyric. Simon sent over to Bobby Willcox and I the most incredible riff and about 4 or 5 lines that he wanted in the song, which I thought were about infidelity. And the lines are, you don't know how it feels, you don't know what a broken heart is. I thought, wow, this riff with those lines is just the most powerful, sexy song about someone being unfaithful to you since I heard Heathcote Williams' Why Did You Do It? But it turned out that Simon was writing a semi-political song about people in power that he wanted to associate with an animal digging in dirt. Now, for me, no animal digs in dirt. All animals are ecologically perfect. They're made that way. That's why they survive. That's why they survive as a breed. They are ecologically perfect. So with the song Monkeys, there was a lot of debate between me, Simon, Craig Ashley, Bobby Willcox about what monkeys mean to us. And I felt that we could not refer in a derogatory sense to any animal. It's negative imagery. It's part of an old culture and it must go. So we changed some of the lyrics so that the monkeys were kind of observing humans. Now, where I was able to turn this on the head is with the video, and the video to monkeys is absolutely stunning, mainly thanks to me and thanks to Darren Short, my editor, where we have a most outstanding old baboon just watching us while we perform. And what the song now says is, you don't know what it's like for our planet to be taken from us. That's the meaning now. I managed to completely invert the meaning. And at the end of recording the album, I bought Simon a large sculpture of a monkey, and it just said, "Congratulations, happy birthday." And when he opened it, he said he burst out laughing, because I just don't think we have debated anything so much as the meaning of the lyric in Monkeys. Any animal on this planet is perfect. It's us that upsets the balance. And there was one other song where Simon and I were very creatively polarized, and it's absolutely led to what I think is the best song of my career. If this is the last song that's ever heard within my life and my career, I'm happy, and it's called Take Me Home. And the polarization on this was that I think Simon wanted a very romantic ballad, and I wanted something where two lovers were separated by an incident. And very slowly we chipped away at this. I chipped away and removed the romanticism. Toyah Willcox came in and just did the most breathtaking guitar. I mean, it is so breathtaking. And both Toyah Willcox and I believe that this is the best work we've ever done on this song, Take Me Home. I can't tell you any more about it. I just can't tell you. But I guarantee, if you know the song Danced, you're gonna be in tears. And when we got to do the video, again, I managed to address the meaning of the lyrics through the imagery in the videos. And the main thing is that we are not a planet, we are now a universe, and we are all, to some extent, refugees. And what I mean by this is, if we do not look after what we have, we're going to be on the move, and look after those who are on the move because of bad events. And Darren Short, yet again, came up with the most breathtaking images that have put this song into context, and you will not guess what they are, but you are going to be so moved and you're going to love it. We managed with the videos to put the Toyah that you follow and have followed for 40 years into context, and it's great work. Now I want to show you something. I'm sitting in the meadow by the River Avon, which we planted this winter, but you're about to get, in a month's time, a single coming out that was shot in this garden on a beautiful sunny day in April. We were very lucky, still in lockdown. All the videos were shot in lockdown, and the single coming out in a month's time, I can't tell you the title because it came from Simon Darlow, and it's an absolute work of genius. When I went into the studio and he said, "I've come up with a song, I've called it," and I went, my goodness, that's genius. So we shot part of the videos up here, because everything on Posh Pop is about elevation. It's about lifting out of the home, it's about lifting out of lockdown, and it's about elevating above problems. So in a month's time, you're going to see a video when I'm up on this dirt mound, which is going soon. We were very lucky it was here, but it allowed me to be elevated. Now, just over there, I shot in our vinery for the videos, and just behind those trees are our magnolias, which we shot up against the sky for the video of Levitate. And again, we were in lockdown, we created a pod, and it was a beautiful sunny day. But the remarkable thing about filming for Levitate is the night before there was one of the most severe frosts we have ever had. And the reason I wanted to shoot up against the magnolia trees was they were in full flower and it looked like a scene from a Japanese garden. So I want to show you these wonderful magnolias because we only planted them a year ago, and this April we had a phenomenal kind of bloom on them. So I put Bobby Willcox and Simon Darlow up on I'm going to show you where I put them because you might have seen this by now. They stood on this table, which is about 3 foot high. The table was over here, looking up at this magnolia and the blue sky while they soloed on their guitars, and I stood on the table singing. And I just wanted that feeling of lifting out of any form of restriction, any form of confinement, and just finding freedom in the sky. And the cellar that it opens in is underground, in one of the underground tunnels under our houses. We use those tunnels, and then I come out into the open air. And then we go into the green screen studio, which I built in the house. So all the videos, all 10 of them, were shot on an iPhone. The industry is already raving about them, which is very, very kind. They were obviously made in lockdown, so they rely on the technology I could get Darren Short to bring in by using green screen. But there's still a major achievement, and I'm very, very happy about all of it. And some of them are just, I just think, do we need everything that we've had in the past, 50 crew and all of that, when an iPhone is just so phenomenal? So thank you very much for that question, because it's allowed me to waffle about a subject I love very much, and that is Posh Pop. Joanne, you also ask, how did the first song come about? Well, I used to start each day before going into the studio by sending Simon a page of lyrics. With a song called Barefoot on Mars, the lyric triggered the complete song from Simon. By the time I got to see him, he so got the lyric that he'd completed the song, which was astonishing. Other times, we usually just sit in the studio with the pages of lyrics I kind of send in the morning before I go in, and we put those to melody, we cut and paste, we try different variations. He's jamming on guitar and I say I like that, and then we'll go off on a completely different tangent. There's never any kind of colour by numbers. We just go with the creative flow, see what happens, allow accidents to happen. But one morning I was jamming on my guitar in my nightgown. This isn't a pretty sight, and we're going to play it you. And I came up with a song called Cellophane Lies, which was going to be something very, very heavy. And I recorded myself in my nightgown, apologising to Simon, gave him the chord sequence, and I said, let's try and work on this when I get into the studio. So here is the little clip of Cellophane Lies. Hello, Simon, this is Cellophane Lies. Please forgive me, I'm in my pyjamas. It's Sunday. Then it goes suspended F, and then an atomic B like a sustain, and this is the bridge chorus. So it's kind of, in a world of maybes, everyone's having babies. Corona rabies, intellectual scabies. So it really is punky. Here comes the lies. Here comes It's very dramatic, and if it could just lighten up a bit, obviously, kind of if my voice could lighten up, but it has that power beneath it. I sent you an email anyway. Woohoo! See you tomorrow. So there you go. I don't look great in the morning. No makeup, pink nightie. It was a bit wintry, but that song became Levitate. And what I find is if I can give out an idea, it usually triggers something can be completely different, or it can be something in the same vein. It can be the embryonic form of the song. This happened with The Bride Will Return, where I sat at the piano in the studio and I played Simon 4 lines of what became The Bride Will Return. But with Cellophane Lies, what it did was it allowed me and Simon to go into the studio, jam around those chords, and then we came up with an idea called Gravity, and then that developed into a song called Levitate. So these very fluid, moving journeys until we feel or felt we'd come up with what represented us and what we were happy with. There is absolutely no kind of set formula in how you write. You just take everything you feel in the moment, put something together till you believe in it, come what may, whatever avenues you use. So thank you very much, Joanna, for that question. Richard Adams, you say you've just seen the trailer to The Ghost of Borley Rectory. I'm so excited about this film. It's turned out so brilliantly. It's me, Julian Sands, Colin Baker, absolutely stellar cast, wonderful actors. I was only on it for one day, and one of the things that made that possible, because we had a lot of dialogue, I had 2 really dialogue heavy scenes in it and a huge seance, all based on truth. We were shooting in Exeter last September, and it was still technically partly lockdown, so we all had to test and be COVID free. But because the main studios at that time weren't opening and weren't shooting, we actually had the technical crew from Star Wars. We had the Steadicam team were all from Star Wars, Pinewood. They were phenomenal. And we were shooting 6 actor scenes with 10 pages of dialogue, and we were shooting as live, and they completely got every shot. We managed to do what would normally take a week, 2 weeks, within 4 hours, because we shot it as a live drama. It took my breath away how brilliant this experience was. Your question, Richard, is you've seen the trailer and you love it. You live opposite the site of the rectory. Oh, that must be something. But you have never experienced ghostly activity. Do you believe in the stories, and do you believe in ghosts, good or bad? I definitely believe in ghosts because I believe we leave memories, and we leave memories in solid structures. And I don't think this is a problem. I think it's just something that over time, with our high-tech lives, our busy lives, we've lost the ability to sense and see. So some people who are really sensitive would pick those up and experience me. Other people would see this brick wall behind me in 100 years' time, and they'd experience what that brick wall had experienced from living entities. We are living entities. We're living in the physical at the moment. So within our house, there's many, many ghosts, because the house was first developed and built on ground level in the 1500s. There's been plagues. We've lost people in the plagues in that building. There's been court procedures in our house, and there's been hangings in our house. There's a lot of memories that sensitives and empaths can pick up on. So for me, that's ghosts. They're not conscious, they're not always conscious, but there is one story about our offices, which is next door to our main house, where we could not get one room to warm up. It just was not happening. In bright sunlight, it wouldn't warm up. And I felt, I don't want my husband in this room. It could make him ill. So we called in a very famous energist, and we had her clear the space. And she became, I'm looking up a pigeon fight. She became very, very emotional while doing it. And she said it was an elderly maid who could no longer walk, and the present occupiers of that building, about 1750, suffocated her, and she didn't know she died. So the energies moved her on, and I have to say it worked. The room is now very, very usable. So the energist who did this was able to have a conversation with the woman who died and to explain to her that she had died and she needed to move on, and she moved her on. That's quite rare. I think what people pick up on when they see ghosts in buildings they don't know is the energy in the walls. Then other experiences is when you pick up on your ancestors, and that could be as close as a sibling, an aunt, an uncle, a parent, a grandparent, and you have this psychic link through your DNA to their experiences. That's another form of sensitivity. You also ask Richard, have I experienced anything evil? Not in this house, not where we live now, and not when we were shooting The Ghosts of Borley Rectory. Our house is beautiful. It's very, very active. We're on a ley line, and I believe the departed, the recently departed, can use ley lines to move into the next energy field. So our house is active, and it's active with people who are still have a foot in the physical world and putting a foot into the spirit world. So yeah, there's a lot going on. But evil, no, I haven't experienced evil since I did a ghost haunt overnight stay somewhere in Sussex in Henry VIII's lodge with my band, and the idea was we went in, you have afternoon tea, have a seance in the evening, stay the night, have breakfast and go. We didn't stay the night. We did the seance and I couldn't get out of there quick enough. I have never experienced such evil as in this lodge. And when I explained this to my husband, he said at the time Henry VIII was alive, there was only 1 or 2 million people on the planet. So the soul energy, and if we're all one collective soul, the soul energy within the human race at that time was very, very powerful. Well, I believe either Henry VIII or one of his henchmen came into the room while we were doing this seance, and I couldn't stay in the room. I felt I'd being forced out. I couldn't breathe. It was vile, really vile. And we were supposed to stay the night, and I think by about 4 a.m. we left. We just couldn't stay there. It was terrifying. And I have never opened myself to that kind of experience again. And that was probably about 15 years ago. So I do believe there is the potential for evil in spirit out there, but you can protect yourself from it. Now, the Ghost of Borley Rectory, I think, is going to be fabulous, and it's coming out for Halloween, even though the premiere is at Romford Film Festival. So here is the trailer for you. I think it's lovely.
What I'm about to tell you goes way beyond evidence. Do you believe in ghosts? Well, I firmly believe that this is a science. Trip devices, camera rigs, it's just not an exact science.
It was a place of great joy once, but now a dark force surrounds it.
Something so frightening, I've hidden it away for many years. And I think it's absolutely vital that we get to the bottom of it.
Apparitions, hauntings, screams in the night.
I call to the spirits.
Entity is all-consuming. She places terrible, evil images in your mind.
What happened? You brought us here. You opened the doorway to pass through to the other side and hide.
Hide within my daughter!
I feel that we're closer to something now. The rectory is not haunted. To what?
You don't understand. She is.
She's behind you.
I think we need to take things up a gear. Do you still feel her presence?
Yeah.
So that was the trailer for The Ghosts of Borley Rectory, which is going to be available to you from Halloween onwards this year. I wanted to answer another thing for Richard, and you talk about experienced ghosts. When we've done Toyah and Robert's Sunday lunch, on 3 occasions now, spirit lights have moved through the picture. And last week we recorded a pre-record for when Robert's away for one of the Sunday lunches by System of the Down. And when you see this at 2:06 in the edit, there is a spirit light that comes and touches my heart and then flies out. It's the strongest spirit light we've ever had, and I think it's because of the subject matter of the song, and because recently someone I knew and worked with took his own life, and it's a very powerful spirit light. You get what are called darts, which ghost hunters are very fond of. They appear quite a lot on camera, but this is an actual spirit light. So look out for them. And whenever they happen, I always try and let you know, so you know what you're looking for and what they are. So thank you, everybody, for Toyah at Home this Saturday. Tomorrow there is a really, I mean, it's one of the funniest Sunday lunches we've ever done. And I can't stop laughing about it. It's a very world-famous rock song by a world-famous rock superstars. We've done the song brilliantly, but it's the subject matter and how we've done it that's very funny. I hope you love it and enjoy it, and it lifts your spirits. And then after that, you're going to see the whole of the video for Levitate. So everybody, thank you so much. This has been an absolutely lovely moment for me in what has been one of the craziest weeks in 15 months. We're going to get there. We're going to be out there live. The album's coming out. I can't wait. This is the accumulation of so much creativity. Stay safe, lots of love, and see you soon. Oh, and agony aunts tonight. Bye for now. Hello, it's Toyah here. I am so excited to tell you that my new album, Posh Pop, will be out on the 27th of August, and you will be able to get it in CD, on vinyl, and a very special CD plus DVD edition with a video for all 10 songs, directed by my good self, starring my good self, Bobby Willcox, aka Robert Fripp, and Simon Darlow. It's from my heart to you, and you can now pre-order Posh Pop as of this very minute. Enjoy, it's from the heart. Lots of love from Toyah.